the tour. We're going to have a quick look at these alligators, and then we'll go and have a look at some freshwater crocs. Then we'll go down to Main Lake. We'll see some more salties there. And then we're going into aisle 3, which means nothing to you. But behind aisle 3 there's aisle 4. Next to that's aisle 2. So anybody under 5 foot, you're now a chicken nugget. We don't want to do the Eastern State pussy thing with double fences and all that security stuff. We expect you to be adults, all right? It starts off by not letting your kids have their fingers through the fences like the big sign out the front said. Not my kids, I don't care. But I've got 50 witnesses if anything goes wrong. I had a little kid that got his nose broken today. One of the crocodiles was going to do. So I told them not to stand by the fence. That crocodile hit the fence and the kid was there with a silly GoPro and now he's wearing the GoPro. So, they're crocodiles. So that's the insurance bit, right? Other than that, it's all fun. So these, just be wary, they're crocodiles, all right? So, and they love kids. The reason they love kids, they're the same size as something they'd hunt in the bush. They're the same size as a wallaby or a pig, which are their favourite foods, and you'll watch them just eyeballing the kids. If they get an opportunity, they will take it. So just be wary. Luckily for us, it's winter, so everything's slowed down. Last night it was only 3 degrees out here. Today it only got to 25, 26. So these aren't really hungry. Reptilians are all cold-blooded, so once it gets cold and icy, you wouldn't think so with all your shorts and singlets, but it's the middle of bloody winter, and their appetite goes out to shoot just as fast. 2 weeks ago they were still eating quite well. Last week they slowed down a bit, but since last night it's going to be hit and miss who wants to eat or not. Because he's cold-blooded, he needs energy from the sun just to digest the dinner I'm going to give him. So if he hasn't got enough warmth in him, enough energy, that chicken's enough to kill him. He'll eat the chicken and he can't digest it, he can't pass it through, and it's just going to go rotten in his stomach and make him very sick. So they only eat when they need to eat. So we'll try our best. American, there's these ones that everybody knows. Come on. Come on. And then there's the Chinese alligator that's nearly extinct, but he's only small, he's a dwarf one. These ones number in their millions, and these are the ones you always see on TV on those inbred shows and stuff. And by no means is he a crocodile, he's the cousin of a crocodile. In the world there's 23 crocodilians, and he's a crocodilian, but there's only 13 real crocodiles. And they're our saltwater crocs and the African Nile croc and gharials, caimans, things like that. But he isn't one of them. He's only the distant cousin of a real crocodile. He's got a different shaped head, big American buff head, and he's got 82 teeth, which is more teeth than our crocodiles have, but his teeth are only that big. And he has a, in that big jaw, he's got a whole set of grooves or sockets. So when he shuts his mouth, everything disappears, it folds away, and he looks like he's got a grin on his face the whole time, you know. They generally only grow to about 4.2, 4.5 metres, but once in a blue moon you'll get a big 5 metre one. You see them on YouTube, on golf courses and things like that, but they're the Michael Jordans of the world. Generally they're about 4.2, 4.5. The girls are around 3 metres, and they live around 80 years, 70 years, whereas our croc's up around 100, 100. He's a bit of a social animal, a bit of a pack animal. So if one of these come and get you, you'll probably get about half a dozen come in and they'll finish the job. So we hand reared all of these. For the first 20 years of their life, I was in there every day with them. But now they're starting to get quite large, weigh about 300 kilo, and they know they're bigger than us. So the respect's getting a bit washed out, and we don't want to have an accident. So we treat them lightly. What he can do that a croc can't do is hang into really cold conditions. That's why they're still moving around now. Crocodile, once it gets cold, he goes very still and quiet and loses his appetite. With an alligator, what he does, he slows his heart rate down. So he can live in up to freezing cold water, not his whole life, but for periods of time. And the way he does it, he'll lower his heart rate down to as low as 1 or 2 beats a minute. So he virtually goes into a coma, and he just keeps his vital organs ticking over. He might be stuck under that ice, you know, like last year, that a 1 in 10 winter in the Everglades. he might be stuck in that ice for maybe 4 or 5 weeks. So he just goes to sleep, and the only thing out of the ice will be his nose. Once everything melts, being an American alligator, he's not fussy what he eats. He'll eat anything that moves and bleeds. He's the only crocodilian species we know that eats fresh fruit and berries. He also doesn't crawl, he gets up and he walks, and he's quite able to get into, not climb trees, but get into low-lying trees and get bird nests and animals and that out of the forest. So he's very manoeuvrable. These are all males, no females here, no breeding program for them, and that's why they're so happy. No stress, and yeah, no magic rainbows out this part of the world. They're not going to have eggs all of a sudden. So yeah, they're just quiet. We've hand reared them all since they were that big, since they were as big as those hatchlings out the front. So one on one, I trust any one of them, but as a group, they're getting a bit pushy. When you watch some of those American shows, you know he's the biggest killer on the planet. But that's what happens when you let inbreds do shows. We're going to leave them alone. We're going to go do a zigzag, go right and then left, and go and have a look at these freshwater crocodiles, show the difference.
Oh, look at that one.
Look at that. Oh.
That one's mini.
Still a crocodile.
Mini one. Is he frozen? Daddy. Huh?
No. Ooh. Look at that, Mikael. He's
Oh
in
my.
there. He's drinking water.
Oh. He's kind of funny when he looks at me.
Lots of them. Oh my God, Mikael, come here na. Don't go to the fence, Mikael. Ito lang, Dad.
Look at him, he's coming.
Got the Fitzroy sort of basin there. You go right through northern Queensland, just sort of around the Sunshine Coast. Two things about the freshies is, one, there's the most important thing, there's never been a human fatality ever with a freshwater croc. He's not aggressive enough, he's not big enough, and it's not what he's about. The other thing is, he can only handle the fresh water. That's why the name, Johnson Freshwater Croc. He can't handle salty water, and he definitely can't handle dirty sewerage water. So you won't find him around mine sites and things like that. This is as big as they grow, normally about 2.5, 2.8 metres, and the girl's the small one. And they've gone off the chew, they went off the bite, they're not interested in eating, or else they'd all be waiting for me to come in. It's just too cold. But they can run really fast. So if you go down the Gibb River Road on your holidays, don't stir them up. They're quite used to tourists. They're quite used to having people around. When you're around freshwater crocs, these are used to people too. When you walk around them, make yourself known. All right? Talk about the footy or the cricket or something. Just make yourself known. Don't go around tippy-toe quiet. If you do that, he thinks you're sneaking around. You can run really fast, and he's got a bite rate of 3 bites a second. So he's only got to brush past you, and you're going to know it. So he will only attack if you provoke him. If you stand on him, if you sneak up on him, if you jump on him in the water, or you pinch his barramundi like that woman did at Kununurra the other week. That's when he's going to have a go. But generally, you leave him alone. He's not big enough to take on a human. He's got no interest. His favourite food are little frogs and little fish. So it's just that he happens to be a crocodile. If you go near him around the wet season, we've never had this problem in the north ever before. But now, in the government's wisdom, they're building all-weather roads. So you're going to get to the places where you wouldn't normally get because of floodwaters. You're going to be able to get there all year. You're going to be going into their habitat eventually where they're breeding around Christmas time. If anybody came near your one baby, you'd deal with them as they come through the front door. Well, he might have 100 babies, and he's not too happy to see you swimming in his waterhole. And that's where the attacks will happen. It won't be an attack trying to eat you, but a couple of little bites off him might spoil your holiday. So you just leave them alone, give them a wide berth. They only live for around 25, 30 years in the wild In captivity here, we might get 35, 40 years because they're not fighting. We're feeding them and looking after them. But they're generally quite passive. Lake where you walked in was called Long Lake, and what we got in Long Lake was predominantly males. It was actually 60 boys, 10 girls, nightclub odds. But this one here, we got to do. But this is our best breeding pond. When we go in here, to collect the eggs, out of the 35 females we'll have about 30 nests. And that's where we get all our product, you know, their leather and eggs and everything. Each nest will have anywhere between 30 and 80 eggs, depend on the female. These are all breeding ponds too, but we only have 2 crocodiles in each one, a male and a female, so it's easy to go in with a degree of safety, if you like. When we go in here, there is nothing. And so all we use is sticks, 6-foot sticks, poles, and my missus in the front of the bucket. So we've got to go in our hands with these before we can run. We go out to the stop the way. And this is the way. Then you go another 2 meters. Then you can play this way. We have to do the whole thing about breaking down. That bloke there, he's like that Maori bouncer at the nightclub. And you girls have no idea. We've been standing in the queue, a K down the road, in the rain, round the corner, freezing cold. You get to the door and the bloke goes, "No mate, wrong shoes. You can't go in." You girls, you only got a smile coming in, you get a champagne pass, it's come on in, and that's that guy. He just lets the girls in and lets his mates in, but he won't let any other bugger in. So I've tried to catch him for the last year. We had a trap in there for him. He went in the trap and backed out halfway through. Once he's done that, they'll never ever go in the trap. So then I went out with a harpoon, little blunt harpoon. You try and get it under their leg, and then I can drag him out, and at least we get a rope on him. And he learnt to flip. So he'd do that famous roll and roll the thing. So I've tried every way I can, tied up. As soon as I hit him with the dart, he'll go to the safe spots, the water. Then that drug takes effect and he'll drown. So if I've already got him tied up, I don't need to drug him. So yeah, we don't use drugs and we don't use guns.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah. If we had guns and water are a no-no. If you miss there, it could shoot somebody a mile away. You know, we use high-powered guns here, not little pea shooters. Okay, now, I'm sorry. So, that's how we always know if they got it or haven't got it. His little girlfriend, she can only hold her breath for about 20 minutes, but her lungs are only that big. But him, you know, well over an hour, and it just keeps going. The bigger the crop, the bigger the lung capacity. So that's why there's not much hope once you grab that animal. He's not a big crop, but he still weighs over 700 kilos. You know, a big rugby player for the All Blacks, 125 kilo, you're not even as much as her. So you got no hope, he's just going to grab it. But yeah, in the summer he wouldn't do this because he'd be waiting there. In summer he'd be having his head up.
Look at this. See? Okay.
This is your turn, Mikael.
Round, not letting go. This one, gentle. No squeezing, open.